Hello friends, it's Juris here, and this is Tattoo Shop Stories. As always, some stories from my experience at the shop, from global network, or a bit of both. And this one is about deposits. Deposits are usually not big issue at the place where I work, but I often see on Facebook feeds where some tattooists are complaining about people being upset or confused about deposits, or people who don't take deposits are upset that often people don't show up. What really is a deposit and what it's for? In our shop, deposit is like a payment towards your tattoo, so we know that you are serious about it and then you are actually planning to come. It also depends on the shop and the people they work with and the style that the shop is run, because sometimes it goes towards like a drawing fee, because there's some places where people are very indecisive with designs and they change their minds often, and they're messing around with people and they change design from completely one way to completely another way. If you figured one thing out, and artists spend hours and hours on drawing, and then you suddenly change your mind, so it might affect that as well. And therefore, like, that deposit goes also towards like the drawing time. So what's the deposit and why it's for? Deposit is usually some sort of payment towards your tattoo, and it's usually deducted from the final price of tattoo. It varies from place to place, and it can be starting from certain amount, or in some places it goes up to like half price of tattoo, and it also depends on the price of tattoo, because sometimes if it's a small tattoo, then deposit can cover most of the cost of tattoo, and if it's a bigger, it's only a little part of it. But that doesn't really matter. And why you should pay deposit, it's usually just to shop know that you are serious about your tattoo. It's not just spontaneous idea and you will change your mind and you will cancel out or something like that. And then you might think, I am serious, why I wouldn't show up? But you wouldn't believe how many people just call up shops and then they go on, or they do price shopping, they email, call, or come by, and then they do it and all over the places, and then they forget and don't show up in many. So that's why that deposit is necessary. What are rules on losing the deposit? Well, that really depends on every shop. So sometimes it's refundable, sometimes it's non-refundable by any means, sometimes it's refundable if you give a notice in time, or some shops will give you like a gift card to cover that cost, so that money is kind of not lost, but it really depends on every shop and their policies. But the main reason to pay it is so the shop understands that you are serious about it, and in most cases if you don't show up you will lose the deposit, and that might upset some people big time. Some people understand it. The main thing to keep in mind is that shop values their time as much as you value your money, so keep that in mind. Think about it. If shop or tattooist or piercer or whatever they're doing, they're planning their day, they're planning their week, month, or maybe several months ahead. So instead of that day where somebody was just thinking about that they might have a tattoo, they could actually have somebody who is really getting it and who's actually paying. So that one no-show without deposit, it makes actually shop lose money, because that time was planned to make money. And another thing to keep in mind is not also just the shop that it's losing the money, there's also a lot of people waiting for their tattoo for weeks or months, and that time that they booked is way ahead, and they could have it way earlier, but just because that time was booked for somebody who wasn't sure, that's also kind of dick move for other people who wants tattoos, piercings, and all that stuff. This was my quick explanation about deposits and why they're necessary and why shops ask them. I hope that made some things clear for you. If you are in a situation where shops, tattooists, or piercers, or whoever you're dealing with, they're not taking deposits, be kind, and like, if you change your mind, let them know on time so they can reschedule and book somebody else in that time, and you are not messing with anyone's time and they don't have to think bad about you. So here's a moral of the story: be good, respect other people's work, respect other people's time, and if you have to pay a deposit, I hope this explained why it's necessary. Have a good one. Bye.